Really, a question you probably wouldn't ask or expect me to ask is retirement obsolete? That's just kind of an assumption that retirement is just something that people do when they get older. But there are actually two questions related to that. One is retirement a wise choice for a specific individual? And we'll see a little bit more about this as we go along, but there are some people who may do better if they work as long as they live. My dad, I'm thinking about, retired, but yet he kept working until he was almost 91, right before his death. And then perhaps a bigger question is, does the systematic practice of retirement in our society make sense for the economy or for the good of society as a whole? And so let's look at some of this. On the negative side, the practice of retirement comes with large hidden costs. Once people are no longer working, they're no longer putting money into retirement accounts, pension systems, retirement systems, and so forth, and or into Social Security as far as that goes. And then another aspect of it is the skills, the abilities, the contributions that they have to make is taken out of the job market and society and so forth. On the positive side, being retired gives people an opportunity to have expanded leisure, opportunities for self-fulfillment in later life. And gives opportunity for personal development, volunteer service, and it provides more jobs for younger workers. For society as a whole, the decline in labor force participation represents a loss of productivity by older people for several reasons. One is people are now living longer, and so they tend to be better health, as the last point says, but also people are better educated, and many of the jobs that they would be doing are still appropriate for someone who is in older age. So when somebody retires, is that a good thing or a bad thing for them? How does it affect physical health, mental health, income, social relationships, and marital relationships? And basically, the answer is it depends. Generally, physical health actually gets better, but not always, depending on the kinds of behaviors of the person. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Mental health, again, it depends. For someone who is looking forward to retirement, they're healthy, had plenty of finances, typically retirement is a very positive thing for them mentally. Those who are in bad health, those who don't have enough money, and so forth, can create stress and challenges to mental health. Income is almost always reduced, so there's less money to do things with. Social relationships, people no longer have friends on the job, but they tend to, whether it's doing volunteers, spending more time talking to their neighbors, making new friendships, and so forth, often find a way to replace those relationships in the workplace. And then marital relationship, on average, the initial time after retirement is really good. People report being more satisfied in marriage, better sex life, just generally happier. But over time, people have to get used to being together so much of the time when in the past they had a big buffer between them and they were able to do their own thing more often. So some of the retirement research suggests that most people are happy and active in retirement. Almost 2/3 said that they found retirement transition to be very satisfying. And then another third said it was moderately satisfying. And only 7% said that their retirement was not satisfying. The actual process of making the decision, actually going through deciding to retire or deciding not to retire, has several different steps to it. One is your attitudes toward retirement. Is it something you've been looking forward to that you can't wait? Or is it something that you feel like you're pressured into, even forced into? Maybe you've even lost your job, and so you just go ahead and retire, start getting retirement benefits. Uh, the preparation for retirement, big part of that is looking at income options, deciding whether or not you have enough money to live comfortably. What are you going to do with your time, and the kinds of things that we ask you to do in your retirement planning assignment. Then the actual decision to retire, again, is thinking about it, looking at, again, things like health, finances, activities plan, and so forth, and also the timing of it. Is it when you want to, or is it when your company wants you to retire? Those sorts of things. The decision not to retire often is based on health. Someone who's in good health tends to work longer. Finances. Someone who doesn't have the money to live comfortably is more likely to work longer. If someone is just really enjoys their work and doesn't really have other kinds of interests for after retirement, they're more likely not to retire. And again, relationships with others. Are they looking forward to going elsewhere, being with other people, and so forth? As I've talked to you repeatedly, our decision to retire in 2021 is based largely on that connection, especially to our children and grandchildren. So, more retirement research indicates, as we've indicated, that health problems can have a big influence on the decision to retire. That poor health is a stronger influence than financial variables on most people's decisions to retire. For more than a third of people who are ages 55 to 59, poor health is decided as being very important in their decision to retire, but it's less of an issue or less a consideration for those who are 60 and older. Again, early retirement often is more or less forced because of bad health. Some of the factors that help to determine financial health and well-being in retirement, one is individual attributes. Financial literacy. Do people understand finances and about savings and how much it's going to take to live and so forth? Again, our financial planning assignment was to help you move in the right direction with that, as well as financial goal clarity. What do I want to accomplish with my finances? And physical health. If I'm in better health, I'm more likely to be able to continue to be better off financially. Again, in case you didn't notice, the over here has pluses or minuses to indicate whether or not it's a positive or negative impact on well-being in retirement. Some pre-retirement job-related factors. Again, we talked about disrupted career path, maybe not getting the promotion you wanted, maybe getting fired, maybe being asked to retire early, being unemployed before retirement. Zelda retired several years ago, went back to work for a couple of years, retired again, and is going to do some more part-time work in the near future. Then family-related factors, depending on if you have more dependents, you're less likely to be well off financially. It costs money to take care of dependents. And then how much it costs to take care of those dependents. And then retirement transition related factors. Again, how well have you planned ahead? Are you retiring to receive financial incentives? One of my colleagues several years ago retired a few years early because the university was offering a special retirement package for those who would go ahead and retire early. And I don't know if you can see it on this slide, but at the bottom it talks about post-retirement activities, including bridge employment. That's the idea of getting perhaps a part-time job to go from being fully employed to being fully unemployed. But again, just some kind of a job to make that transition there. So we've talked about some of these things already, but another specific list of keys to a satisfactory retirement: 1, good health; 2, adequate income; 3, strong social network, friends, family, and so forth that you have connections with; 4, an accurate preconception of retirement. Is it going to be what you think it's going to be like, or you expect it'll be lots of fun, like the video we started off with? Or is it really boring and you're tired of it after the first few days? And then a favorable pre-retirement attitude toward retirement. Are you looking forward to it, or are you really excited for it to happen? Some things about the connection between retiring early and living longer. For, again, as we talked about earlier, longer life depends. For lots of people, work can be stressful, can take time away from exercise, promote bad habits like drinking too much. And if you also have problems with obesity, smoking, alcohol consumption, as well as you don't exercise and stress enough, all these can contribute to health problems. If you drive to work, that's another life-threatening risk, as well as a source of stress for many people. Retirees are more likely to exercise, and those who exercise are better off for it. Retirees get more sleep. They spend more time doing household work and gardening, and the likelihood of smoking goes down in retirement as well. So just thinking about before retirement, a survey was done several years ago by Wells Fargo, looked at middle class and fears that they had. And with some of the things that the survey found out, almost a third had a written plan for retirement, which means that more than a third did not have a plan for what they expected, what they were going to be doing financially and activities and so forth. So you're way a step ahead of most people in their middle class. And more than a third say they'll never be able to retire. They just don't see how they'll ever have the money to do that. 42% say it's impossible to pay their bills while also saving money, specifically for retirement. And almost two-thirds, 59%, say paying the bills is their top concern, which had gone up at the time of this survey. So, just some things about retirement in general. We'll be looking as well at some things about income and expenses in retirement. Where does money come from, and where does the money go? Have a good day. As always, if I can be a help to you in any way, please let me know, and I'll do my best to be helpful.